Tonight, we're going to clean an ear so blocked with wax you can barely see the eardrum beneath. But as we gently soften and lift each layer, I want to tell you some stories you've probably never heard before. Because throughout history, the ear has been surrounded by mystery, superstition, and strange beliefs. Did you know that in ancient Japan, it was believed that your earwax color revealed your destiny? Or that in parts of rural Italy, people used to place silver coins behind the ear to ward off evil spirits? There were cultures that believed a ringing ear meant someone was speaking your name. Others thought that if you slept on your right side, you could hear the whispers of the dead. Sounds strange. That's just the beginning. Tonight, while we slowly clean and restore one blocked ear, I'll share the weirdest, wildest, and most wonderful myths people have believed about ears and what they mean for how we've always listened to the world. Settle in, let the quiet take over, and let's begin. Asterisk, asterisk, let's begin gently. The outer ear is dry, flaky, the canal blocked by a thick ridge of hardened wax. As we soften it with warm oil, let me take you back to the banks of the Nile, because in ancient Egypt, earaches were never just medical. They were divine punishment. The Egyptians believed that your ears were the doorways to the soul, gateways through which blessings or curses could enter. If someone lied or heard something unclean, it was said that the gods could strike the ears with pain. This wasn't metaphor. They believed a specific god, Base, the dwarf protector of households, guarded the ears of children while they slept. If Base was displeased, a fever or ringing or throbbing earache might follow. To ease the pain, Egyptian healers used a ritual called the whispering smoke. They would grind lotus petals and myrrh into paste, heat it on a stone, and blow the scented smoke near the ear, believing the gods would forgive the offense if the ritual was done respectfully. Strange, maybe, but it worked, not because of divine magic, but because myrrh and lotus are mildly antibacterial and calming. The myth carried science before science had a name. Let's go even older. In ancient Babylon, there was a belief in something called the ear demon, a mischievous spirit that lived in tunnels, wells, and ears. If someone fell ill with dizziness, ear buzzing, or vertigo, the priests would say, "The whispering one has entered." To drive it out, they used a mixture of goat fat, crushed juniper, and honey, poured it into the affected ear, and chanted the demon banishment hymn. Again, juniper is antimicrobial. Honey, healing. They called it ritual. We'd call it early medicine. As we continue cleaning this blocked ear canal, we reveal more than wax. we uncover a history of fear, wonder, and meaning, all focused on something as simple as an earache. Because back then, pain wasn't just discomfort, it was a message, and the ear was the messenger. Asterisk, asterisk. Now that we've cleared the outer blockage, you'll notice the wax underneath is softer, deeper, almost spongy. We'll use a fine curette to gently scoop and lift. As we work deeper, let's move into ancient Greece and Rome, where ears weren't seen as punishments from the gods, but as omens. You've probably heard the old phrase, "My ears are burning." Someone must be talking about me. That idea, it's over 2,000 years old. Roman philosopher Pliny the Elder wrote in his Natural History that when a person's left ear burns, someone is speaking ill of them. But if the right ear burns, it's praise. This idea became so widespread that people kept silver earrings in their pockets, not to wear, but to rub when their left ear tingled, as a way to block the gossip. Why silver? They believed it reflected harmful words, like a mirror for the soul. In Greece, philosophers took it even further. They believed the ear was more than just a sensory tool. It was a gateway to intuition. The Pythagoreans, an early mystical school of thought, believed the left ear was tuned to the other world. They taught that during sleep, you could receive messages through the ear from gods, muses, or even the dead dot. To enhance this, they would sleep on their right side, keeping the left ear exposed to dreams. Some even designed ear horns, long bronze cones that funneled wind and sound into the ear during meditation, believing the right frequency could awaken inner knowledge. As we clean out the mid-canal, you'll notice the texture of the wax is changing. Sticky, amber-colored now. This is the odor buildup, the kind that clogs more than hearing. It dulls your sense of direction, your balance, even your clarity. And in the ancient world, when hearing dulled, they believed the soul was blocking out truth. Many Roman homes had household gods, small statues near the door. At night, families would whisper into the ears of these figurines, asking for protection, or forgiveness, or a good sleep. They believed the whisper was heard not by the statue, but by their own body through the echoing chamber of the ear canal. The myth: if you speak it and it enters your own ear, your body remembers. It's strange how much power people gave to ears. They were never just flesh. They were instruments, mirrors, antennas, and whether it was buzzing, ringing, or burning, each sensation was read like a message, not ignored, but interpreted. Asterisk, we've reached the deepest part of the canal now. The wax is thinner here, darker, but more delicate. This is where care matters most. A slow sweep, a gentle lift. And now we begin to glimpse the eardrum while we finish this final part of the journey. Let me tell you some of the quietest and perhaps most beautiful myths about ears. In Japan, there was once a belief that ears could hear dreams. Before going to bed, some would whisper their wish into their pillow, pressing it against their left ear, not to ask the gods, but to plant the thought into the subconscious through sound. If the dream came true, they believed their ear had listened deeply. And if it didn't, they'd say the ear had closed itself out of fear. This led to the practice of gently rubbing the earlobes before sleep, to open the channels of perception. In West Africa, the Yoruba people told stories of ancestral whispers. They believed that when someone passed away, you could still speak to them through the left ear. For weeks after a death, family members would lean close to one another's ears and share quiet memories, not for comfort, but to allow the departed soul to hear it one last time. It was said, "Speak softly, for the dead do not like shouting." Some elders still perform this ritual, a whisper into the ear of a newborn, so that the first words they hear carry the voice of their ancestors into bed. Spiritual teachers believe that sound remains, that everything you hear leaves an imprint in your mind, like a drop of water carving through stone. There's even a term for it, Nyanpa, the residue of sound memory. That's why, when you hear a certain phrase or a song, you might feel emotions you can't explain. The Tibetans believe the ears remember what the conscious mind forgets. So when you whisper something kind into someone's ear, especially during pain or sleep, you're giving them a memory they may never recall, but will always feel. And now, this ear is fully clear. The eardrum reflects light like a pearl, and for the first time in what may have been weeks or months, the world will sound brighter. But more than that, the silence will sound deeper, because the myths, strange as they are, teach us one thing clearly. The ear is not just for noise, it is for memory, for intuition, for secrets, and sometimes for healing. So tonight, as you lie in your bed, with your ears clean, your body calm, and your mind full of strange, beautiful old stories, let yourself listen to your breath, to your thoughts, to the distant hush of the world outside your window. You've just made space for quieter things to enter. You've cleared the canal and opened the door to stillness. Thank you for being here, for listening deeply, for hearing what most people never stop long enough to notice. Sleep well, And when the world gets too loud, remember what you've learned. The softest stories are the ones that echo the longest. Good night.